Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast for self-love, self-healing, and overcoming the limiting beliefs that keep you feeling stuck. This is your opportunity to take the deep dive into who you really are with the tools and tricks to maintain a healthy relationship with yourself. So if you're ready, take a deep breath in, let it out, and let's get started. Welcome to today's episode of the Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Smith. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button and share the podcast with your friends on social media and tag me in it at JBirdFit. Today, we're going to dive into an important topic, redefining masculinity, but we're going to talk about it minus all the additional labels like toxic or positive. I think we've overcomplicated the topic of masculinity and that we already inherently know most of the answers that social media is asking right now, but we're afraid to say it out loud for fear of being judged, rejected, or ostracized on social media. There is a victim mentality culture out there that is growing on social media, but it only appears to be on social media. When you go out into the real world, these same discussions just aren't happening. The past several times I've gone out to dinner, I'm seeing more and more men in community and supporting one another. There is a victim mentality culture out there that is growing on social media, but it only appears to be on social media. When you go out into the real world, these same discussions aren't happening. The past several times I've gone out to dinner, I'm seeing more and more men in community and supporting one another. On my dating content, you all keep asking, where have all the good men gone? Well, apparently they're having dinner with each other, building, growing, expanding, and learning from one another. When I go to jujitsu, we are focused on connecting the dots, completing reps, cultivating friendship through sportsmanship, and doing something difficult, something that many of us have never done before. And yes, I am new to the sport. However, there are things that are just blatantly obvious when you first walk in the door. You have people from all different backgrounds, skills, abilities who are there to complete a mission. We have an hour together where we work, we sweat, we challenge ourselves and each other, and we learn. No one puts anybody else down because at some point we all started out as white belts, and I'm one of them. So do we need to redefine masculinity so everyone feels included? Or do we need to display what masculinity looks like in the real world so others can be inspired by the work that it takes to have self-mastery? Recently, I watched a YouTube short from @Vice on YouTube, and they had a group of men discussing some key points about the masculinity crisis and what it actually means to them, fully believing that masculinity has to be redefined and that none of them have any real idea or direction on how to do so. As today, just keep in mind, I only watched the clip. I didn't dive in any further than that. And while we're here, let me give you a side note to all that. If you aren't reading books on personal development, psychology, finances, and spirituality, you will find yourself in the same spot as these guys. You have to understand that you give yourself the things that you know that you lack. This is self-mastery. No one can do that for you, nor will they. One man in the group even stated, "We're just out here trying to be whoever we are." And there it is. You don't know who you are. This is why you always hear me say, if you want change, if you want something different, it all begins with the relationship that you have with yourself. They also brought up the concept or experience of generational trauma, the be a man or big boys don't cry. And this trauma is currently being exposed and healed, which is a key element to healing the greater collective, and is work that we should all be exploring on different levels. And I say different levels because we're all going through and experiencing things differently, but in real time with our own level of awareness and understanding. When you understand that, you can begin to step back and realize that what someone else is experiencing doesn't have to be a fundamental threat to you or an attack on your worldview, but that's a conversation for another time because it's deeply nuanced. Another man stated, "I don't know how to define where we're supposed to be. This comes from parents being taken out of the homes, constantly working to provide and consume, but not be able to meet the emotional needs and support that each child requires. Now, I know, in good faith, all parents are out there doing the best they can, but we often overcompensate with material things when in reality your child needs a deeper connection with you, not as a friend, but as a parent who has their back and is prepared to guide and mentor them towards emotional regulation, co-regulation, and cultivating trusted connections by sharing your base knowledge with them. Parents' job to teach them how to navigate the difficult terrain that is modern society, how to think, how to make sense of their world and their environment, not just give them an iPad or a gaming console to occupy their time because you yourself feel overwhelmed. Understand you can only impart knowledge that you have learned, that you've gained by doing, and practiced in real time consistently. The question still stands, does masculinity need to be redefined? Well, I've got 9 ways you can display masculine traits using a multifaceted approach. There is no one magic pill answer that applies to everyone, but here are some of the basics. Side note here that I think is important is you're never going to hear me say, well, a good man would do these 5 things. A real man would do XYZ. Those statements are subjective, and at the end of the day, it's all about building a better relationship with yourself so you can have the types of relationships with others that you really want to have. With that being said, here's a quote from Dr. Jordan Peterson. A harmless man isn't a good man. A good man is a dangerous man who has everything under voluntary control. Another one of my favorite quotes is, heal the boy and the man appears. What we really have is an epidemic of men who never learned how to manage or regulate their emotions, how to build healthy relationships with their partners because of what was modeled to them as children, understanding attachment styles as a means of cultivating better relationships, and respecting yourself enough to do the work. There is no easy button. We are here to improve upon ourselves daily and help lift each other up and protect those who are unable to do so for themselves. So how can we keep this going in our own lives? Number 1, authenticity. Embrace who you are as an individual and avoid conforming to societal or cultural expectations of masculinity. Be true to yourself and strive to express your thoughts, feelings, and emotions genuinely. Number 2, emotional intelligence. Develop the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions while recognizing that someone else's big emotions aren't yours to take personally. Read that again. Their emotions are not yours to take personally. Practice healthy communication skills and learn to read people in situations for what they really are and not what you want them to be. Number 3, self-care. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. This includes regular exercise, healthy eating, proper sleep, and managing stress effectively. Prioritize self-care as an essential part of your daily routine. Number 4, respect for others. Treat others with kindness, empathy, and respect. Remember, you give your power away when you let someone else bother you. They now control you. Only you can have an impact on how you think, act, and feel. Number 5, healthy relationships. Build and maintain healthy relationships by building a great relationship with yourself. Develop self-confidence by giving yourself evidence of success. When you take care of you, you are more capable of taking care of those that you care for. Understanding attachment styles is also a big part of developing healthy relationships. Number 6, responsibility and accountability. Take responsibility for your actions and your choices. Own up to your mistakes and learn from them. And you didn't fail. You gained necessary knowledge to succeed in the future. Number 7, pursuit of goals and passions. Set and pursue meaningful goals and interests that align with your values and passions. Cultivate a sense of purpose and strive for personal growth and self-improvement daily. Read books. Please just read books. Number 8, be supportive of other people in their pursuits. They aren't your competition. Be the kind of person who wants to see other people win. Let go of that scarcity mindset. It's going to stop you every time. Resilience and adaptability is number 9. Develop resilience and adaptability to cope with challenges, setbacks, and changes in your environment. Start a daily practice of breath work as a means of regulating your emotional state and generating that resilience. What does that look like? You can do a physiological sigh, and that's 2 quick inhales in through your nose. So it's a quick inhale in and then an extra one at the top. And then a regular exhale out through your mouth. Make it a long exhale. And you're welcome. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. I hope you found value in this episode. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at JBirdFit. Don't forget to rate and review the show and share it with a friend and tag us in it at JBirdFit. And if you're still here, the 21-day self-love challenge is currently half off. You can use code SPRING23, that's SPRING 23. Head over to my Stan store and sign up today.